Hello and welcome to the Often Partisan video podcast. If you subscribe to the Often Partisan newsletter, you know I'm doing this and the reason for it, but for those of you who don't, on this day 1 year ago, Birmingham International Holdings announced to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange that they're going into receivership. An application had been made on the 16th of February 2015 by the board of Birmingham International Holdings to put them into receivership because they couldn't reconcile the differences between the two factions, and Ernst and Young were appointed that day. A lot has changed, a lot hasn't changed, and I thought what I would do is I would use this podcast to talk about what hasn't changed and what needs to. So before we start, let's do a little bit of a recap. Since Ernst and Young came in on the 17th of February 2015, on the 31st of March, it was announced that various bids for Birmingham City Football Club and Birmingham International Holdings had been solicited and received, and on April 8th, Birmingham International Holdings confirmed that they'd taken one as preferred bidder. The identity of that company wasn't revealed till May, and we now know it's of course Trillium Trophy Asia, and documents filed by Trillium Trophy Asia to Companies House here in England with regards to the mortgage they hold over St Andrews show that the owner of Trillium Trophy Asia is a guy called Paul Soon Cho Hung. So since then, not much has happened. We haven't heard much about the takeover, and people are asking questions. And what I thought it would do is take the most biggest questions, as it were, and try and answer them as best as I can. Now, there's going to be a lot of speculation here because not a lot has been announced in public. And as always, my caveat is treat all speculation with the skepticism it deserves, and that includes anything I say. So you've got to make the decision whether you believe it or not. The first question that I asked on the email that I sent out to Often Partisan subscribers is, why is nothing happening out in Hong Kong? It's the most frequent question I get asked. What is going on? Why is nothing happening? Why has nothing been announced? It's a really tricky one because, of course, with no news, I can only tell you speculation. But I would think that Ernst and Young are doing more than counting their pennies and taking clients out to Wan Chai hooker bars, like a certain Mr. P. Panu Esquire. What they're doing, they're in negotiation at the moment, not just with Trillium Trophy Asia, but also with the stock exchange. Until the stock exchange agrees that shares can be relisted, we can't really go forwards. We can't really go any further with the sale of the club. So we're kind of at an impasse at the moment. Now, I'm led to believe that the stock exchange are being a bit slow, being a bit reticent to come back with answers, and a bit less. See, the thing with the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is, while things are good, they ignore everything. But you get your shares suspended, and all of a sudden they start asking awkward questions. You give answers, and they ask more questions. Blah 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 blah. There's an issue with the misappropriation of funds. They want Birmingham International Holdings to announce what's happening with that to the stock exchange. We've not seen that. They also want to make sure that there is correct corporate governance in place, which is because Panu made an offer was why the shares were suspended in the first place. As I said, as far as I know, it's the stock exchange who are asking more questions, and that's the issue. Also heard a little rumour that Carson might be interfering. How? I have no idea. But those of you who think Carson's gone away, it's not true. It's not true. The second question regards Carson. What if he gets his conviction overturned in the Court of Final Appeal? His appeal in the Court of Final Appeal will be heard on May 31st for 3 days till June 2nd. And it depending on who you speak to in Hong Kong, some people say he's going to walk, some people say he's not going to. I've got to be honest with you, my gut instinct is, having sat through a lot of the prosecution, having seen what the grounds of appeal are, I think he will walk. And this is where the game changer comes. Because if Carson walks, people have asked me, well, has he got to retake the fit and proper person test? The answer to that is no, because with no conviction, he doesn't fail it, he passes. So he would no longer be disbarred from being a director of the football club. He would no longer be disbarred from owning any, from being a director of the holding company. All his assets would be unfrozen, so it would be back to square one. So if Carson gets his conviction overturned, then it gets very interesting. Now, one of the reasons I think Ernst and Young instigated a court case against Carson for his negligence, I would guess the word would be, in running Birmingham International Holdings, was to put something else on him that would get him disbarred, that wasn't tied up in this money laundering case. Something that was a bit firmer, maybe. But that's not due back in court till around April time. So it's a bit iffy what's going to happen with that. As I alluded to previously, even though he's out on bail from a serious conviction, it appears he can still get involved anyway. Carson still owns 27% of Birmingham International Holdings. Yes, they're in receivership, but that has not changed the ownership situation. Carson's still very much the largest shareholder, and the fact of the matter is, he's still there. He's still trying to get involved. I don't think he'll walk away easily. And when if his conviction is overturned, then yeah, it could be interesting. The third question is a bit of a hypothetical one. What happens if, by some miracle, Blues go up to the Premier League? We don't know what's going to happen with regards to promotion, and I don't think, well, it's possible. I wouldn't say probable, but it could happen. And I think people have looked at the massive amounts of money that are due to Premier League clubs next year via TV rights. They thought, oh God, all that money's going to go to Carson. Carson's going to come back. He's going to take everything. Or they thought that Ernst and Young will look at new preferred bidders. I can kind of understand those worries, but first of all, if Birmingham City go up, I guarantee you that I know where the money will go. The major financial drain on any football club is player wages. If Birmingham City, by some miracle, go up and have all this money to spend, I will guarantee you they will spend it on players, and most of all, player wages. People say, oh, well, we got 3.75 million for Damari Gray, and we only spent 1.5 million on Fabrini. Fair enough, if you only take transfer figures into consideration. I heard rumours Will Buckley's on 20 grand a week. I heard rumours that Fabrini was offered 15 grand a week. I can't tell if those figures are true, but if Will Buckley's on 20 grand a week, that's £500,000 gone. It's a lot of money, and that money would have had to have come from somewhere. So yeah, if Blues go up, where will the money go? The players. Same place it always went. The second question is a bit of a different one, in that the second part of the question, in that will Ernst and Young reconsider Trillium Trophy Asia? Now, I'd imagine there would be interest in Birmingham City to buy, because there's no debts. The club's really well run, and if we went up, then yeah, we'd be in a great position. But Trillium Trophy Asia weren't picked because they were the money men. They were picked because they knew how to sort out this listing in Hong Kong. And to be quite frank, that is all Ernst and Young are worried about. They're not worried about the club. So even if we go up, Trillium Trophy Asia will still be in the box seat. The only thing I would hope, and I'm pretty sure this would be accurate, is they would understand that there is more money involved, and therefore they would be more willing to loan us money if we needed it for cash flow purposes until the big watches of money came in from the TV rights. As ever, thank you for watching the Often Partisan video podcast. If you have any questions, email me, almajira@oftenpartisan.co.uk. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/often_partisan, or on Facebook, facebook.com/oftenpartisan. That's it for now. I'll try and do one of these again in the near future. Till then, keep right on.